Support for Colorado Today comes from Credit Union of Colorado. With access to over 30,000 ATMs and a mobile app, they're dedicated to offering the services of a big bank with a heart. Learn more at honestlygood.org.
Support for Colorado Today comes from Safeway, celebrating the holiday with fresh local produce, quality meats, and seasonal favorites. Shop in-store or let Safeway do the shopping this holiday season with free curbside pickup using the Safeway app.
Today's show is mostly about things getting stolen off of porches, out of stores, and from people's homes. Because 'tis the season for that as well. And that's why I wanted to start off with a story about watching my dad cut up the bottoms of flour bags at our family's pizza shop. I grew up in a rough neighborhood. Things would get stolen all the time. And items like flour, those were easy to steal and quick to sell. Slicing the bottoms of the bag made it so they would spill if you try to pick them up and move them. His lesson in my own words: if someone wants to steal something from you, they will. The best thing you can do is make it as annoying as possible for them, and then maybe, just maybe, they'll pass you by. I'm Arlo Perez Esquivel.
And I'm Bazi Kanani. Coming up, a big change could be coming for how dangerous the feds consider marijuana.
I think it would be the biggest thing to happen for Colorado's marijuana atmosphere since legalization.
Then we get a little grinchy with some stories about theft and burglary. We visit a county where the retail stores could soon be punished for not reporting the shoplifters who targeted them.
We're going to try to arrest everybody. You steal from us, expect to go to jail.
Plus, if a thief hit your place, how far would you go to get your stuff back? We meet a Colorado man who took it to the next level.
I drove over there to the motel, and I walked into his room, and it was wall-to-wall packed with stolen equipment.
It's Friday, December 19th. Here's the news in Colorado today. Yesterday, President Trump signed an executive order to reclassify marijuana. He wants to take it from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3 substance. This is a move that advocates like Brian Vicente have been requesting for decades.
This is the federal government saying, hey, we recognize marijuana is medicine, and there's some legitimacy here.
Trump alluded to those medical benefits before he signed the order.
For decades, this action has been requested by American patients suffering from extreme pain, incurable diseases, aggressive cancers, seizure disorders, neurological problems, and more, including numerous veterans with service-related injuries and older Americans who live with chronic medical problems that severely degrade their quality of life.
Making marijuana a Schedule 3 substance puts it in the same category as some regulated drugs that you can only get with a prescription, like Tylenol with codeine. But to be clear, Trump's executive order does not legalize it.
It still remains illegal under the Controlled Substances Act at the federal level. So it's not like suddenly Circle K can start selling, cannabis.
Reclassifying marijuana would not clear the drug for people to use recreationally, but it would still be a big deal for marijuana businesses, which would pay lower federal tax rates. And it could make it easier for scientists to conduct research on the medical benefits of the drug. But the move does have its critics, including the group One Chance to Grow Up. That's a national nonprofit dedicated to safeguarding kids from intoxicating drugs. Diana Carlson co-founded the group. She worries rescheduling increases the risk of abuse.
Even in Colorado, we're over 12 years in, and we're still seeing the health and youth fallout, and we're still trying to course correct. And so we have some really important things we need to do when it comes to public health and safety and protecting kids. And let's do that first, then opening up yet another expansion of high-potency marijuana.
President Trump's move to reschedule marijuana was praised by Governor Jared Polis and Colorado's members of Congress from both parties. Okay, back to our theme of the show on theft and burglary. 'Tis the season for online shopping, which means more packages headed out to our homes, and a real humbug of a moment, more packages walking off our porches in someone else's arms. It is often referred to as porch piracy.
Package theft in the U.S. is incredibly common. Unfortunately, way too common.
This is Ben Stickle. He's a professor of criminal justice administration at Middle Tennessee State University. He's also a former police officer and now devotes a lot of his time to studying property crimes, particularly package theft.
All told, we think last year alone that package theft cost both the consumer and the industry over $37 billion. And we don't see that going down because the packages that we're getting on a daily basis tend to be valued higher and higher, and we tend to be purchasing more and more that's shipped to our houses.
In Metro Denver, package theft has been on the rise in recent years. Data from the Denver Police Department shows more than 3,600 reported incidents of porch piracy already this year, up by more than 50% since 2022. Stickle has studied hours of video of people stealing packages, and he says people don't seem very worried about getting caught.
Most people didn't check to see if anyone was at home. And then when they walk up, if they saw a video camera, they'd look at it and most of the time take the package and walk away anyway. Very few even tried to hide their face. And so this just seems to be a very easy crime of opportunity. You walk up, you take a package, and you run away.
That said, he does have a few prevention tips. For one, you could set a delivery time for when you'll be home. That way you can keep a close eye on it. Or
you could have it delivered to a trusted friend or a neighbor, or maybe work if they allow you to do that. The other option, if you're having a package delivered, is have something on your front porch that can block the view of the package from the roadway, whether that's a plant or a bench of some type, and have it delivered just behind that. So if the thief can't see it, then they're less likely to take it.
if none of that feels safe to you, you can do an in-store pickup for retailers with actual locations, or send your Amazon packages to a nearby Amazon locker.
Shoplifters are a big headache for retail stores. Officials in Douglas County are pushing for a new local policy to address that. They're all Republicans and not happy with how they feel Democrats have handled this issue.
In places like New York and San Francisco, where liberal policies allow for lawlessness, they're telling their employees not to call about shoplifting.
Douglas County Commissioner George Teal and other county officials want to make sure stores there are reporting shoplifting, every bit of it, all the time. They're considering fining businesses if they don't go to the police within 96 hours. Penalties would start at $50 a day and max out at $1,000. The commissioners say the goal is not to punish small businesses, but to pressure corporate headquarters of big box stores in particular to change their policies that overlook some amount of shoplifting and to empower their employees to report thefts.
Just change those larger corporate policies as it relates to Douglas County so that your managers within the big box stores cooperate and work with law enforcement to protect them from losses.
According to a study released by a conservative think tank, the Common Sense Institute, shoplifting is an increasing problem in the state, costing Colorado businesses $1.3 billion last year. That same research found that Douglas County had the fifth highest amount of reported shoplifting incidents in the state last year. Chris House is the president of the Colorado Retail Council. He says the council is planning on meeting with DugCo officials to talk about the proposed ordinance.
Organized retail crime is a terrible problem in our Colorado stores, but penalizing the stores for not keeping up with their reports to law enforcement, I think, might not be the best option.
He worries what a policy like this could mean for employees.
The store staff are extremely busy and, they're trying to do customer service and protect the store and all of that stuff. And so penalizing them, sometimes they don't even know what's happened, of course. So it's hard to prove a negative.
Douglas County officials are taking a more aggressive approach toward shoplifting in general, including seeking jail time for all offenders. Here's District Attorney George Brockler.
We're going to try to arrest everybody. You steal from us, expect to go to jail.
However, that approach has its critics. Mary Dodge is a professor of criminal justice at the University of Colorado, Denver.
In fact, it may have the kind of backlash that will actually increase misdemeanor crimes. Once you pull somebody into the system, theoretically, they're labeled as a criminal and a deviant, and they take on that label, and so they'll commit more crimes. So in theory, it's a very bad idea.
The proposed ordinance would apply only to unincorporated Douglas County, so the shops at Park Meadows Mall and the Castle Rock outlets wouldn't be included. Howes said that even though he doesn't think fining businesses is the way to go, Douglas County is generally a good place to be a retailer because law enforcement there does respond to theft reports.
Douglas County, fortunately, is one of the very best counties for our stores where, law enforcement takes great pride in arresting and attempting to prosecute thieves, and we appreciate that.
The proposed ordinance in Douglas County is still going through a public comment period and won't have a final vote for weeks or even months.
We're wrapping up our theft show with a story about the lengths that one man went to recover what was taken from him, and what his story says about property crimes and law enforcement today. Brett Dallas has been performing on the streets in Denver for more than a decade. You may have seen him on 16th Street Mall.
When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, she said...
Dallas' busking setup includes electric guitars, pedals, speakers, etc., which, when not performing, he keeps locked up in a shed at his home. Then, one October morning, he opened the door to find it completely empty.
And I just dropped to my knees and I just started crying. I could not believe this. It just, the amount of loss that I experienced in that moment, I just can't begin to describe.
So what came next? Freelance investigative reporter Zach Newman chronicles Dallas' story in an article for the Colorado Sun. Zach, I understand that Dallas immediately reported the theft to the Lakewood Police Department, but he also decided to look for his belongings on his own, right?
Yeah, so he reached out to the internet to put out wide and far, like, hey, this is my stuff. This is what it looks like. Please let me know if you see it. And he wasn't really that optimistic, but people pretty quickly spotted his guitars online from a couple of different music shops.
Huh. So then I imagine he went to those music shops. Did the stores that resell those items, do they generally have any measures in place to make sure that they're not reselling stolen goods?
Yeah, they're supposed to under Colorado law. They have to get that personal information from sellers. Guitar shops are also supposed to check the police database for stolen goods. And in this case, the safety measures clearly fell short. It could be because the thief got there to sell before the guitars made it into the database.
Okay, but despite this lapse in security, you mentioned that it was sort of a victory for Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas was reunited with his guitars after police verified the ownership, and he started to add additional security measures to his shed. Cameras, extra bolts, and locks. But it was broken into again.
No way.
Yeah, just days later.
I log into my camera system, and I literally see a man is shining a flashlight through the window, and then sure enough, the side door is opened slowly, and in walks this man, and he's holding a pry bar in his hand. And the chills that went up my spine when I saw that.
Jeez. How common are these kind of crimes in Colorado?
Dallas is one of thousands of Coloradans who reported similar burglaries over the past decade. And few of these cases get solved. So out of more than 350,000 cases of burglary and theft from buildings in the past 10 years, just 15% have been cleared.
Wow. That's an astonishing number. Do you have any sense of why so many of these cases are never solved?
I talked to Lakewood police about Dallas's case, and they said burglary cases are tough to crack. Offenders move fast to try to get rid of stolen goods and sell them as quickly as possible, making it hard for police to connect stolen stuff with the people that might have taken them.
Going back to Dallas, what happened in this second burglary? I mean, did he get anything back this time?
Yeah, the next leg of this journey starts with a stolen ladder. Dallas was trying to replace the one that was stolen from him, and so he went on Facebook Marketplace to see what he could find, and he found a ladder that looked eerily like his own.
No way.
Yeah, he reached out and set up a time at a meetup a half a mile away at a motel.
Okay, so what did Dallas find when he got there?
Well, this is how he described it.
I drove over there to the motel, and I walked into his room, and it was wall-to-wall packed with stolen equipment. Like, I walked in, the first thing I saw was my bike leaning against the wall on top of a pressure washer that was undoubtedly stolen from someone else.
Dallas was filming as he went in, and the man in the motel room claimed he was just cleaning out storage. And I should add that police strongly advise against doing what Dallas did, because confronting someone in a situation like this could turn violent or dangerous.
I mean, yeah, that sounds like an insane sort of interaction. Did Dallas call the police? I mean, it sounds like he had a pretty good case that the guy there had robbed his shed.
Yeah, he did. After he got back, there's no arrest yet, and police won't say why. I've heard from a lot of readers really outraged that there hasn't been one in this case.
How about personally? How has this whole ordeal been for Dallas?
Dallas feels empowered by recovering his own stuff and a sense of justice. I mean, he got most of his stuff back, which is pretty impressive, and I don't think something any of us expected here. But it was really traumatizing. It left him feeling intensely vulnerable in his own home, and especially because he was hit twice, possibly by the same person.
Does he have any advice for others?
Yeah, and it's about everyone's favorite topic, insurance. He started looking for his stuff because his insurer denied his claim. The company said it wouldn't pay out because the theft was from a shed and not his home. An insurance expert I talked to about this said that was pretty odd, but it was a good reminder to take a close look at your policy, figure out what is and isn't covered, and get some additional coverage if needed to cover some especially high-value items. The rule of thumb is if you couldn't afford to replace it right now out of pocket, you probably need insurance.
Reporter Zach Newman, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Additional reporting for today's show came from CPR's Sandy Batulga, Stephanie Wolf, Sarah Mulholland, John Daly, and Benta Berkland.
As we close today, we want to say that we're so grateful for our members. Thank you for giving this year. You made it possible to start this podcast.
If this is the time for you to make a year-end gift, we wanted to thank you with a special opportunity.
Ooh, what's that?
Well, donating to CPR now is an instant entry to win a trip to New York City. And you can find complete rules and details and enter to win the trip at cpr.org.
Sounds fun. Good luck and have a great weekend. I'm Bazi Kanani.
I'm Arlo Perez Esquivel. This is CPR News.
Support for Colorado Today comes from Safeway, offering convenient delivery and free pickup to help with the busy times this holiday. Online customers enjoy the same prices, deals, and rewards as in-store. Get started in the Safeway app or at safeway.com.
Support for Colorado Today comes from Credit Union of Colorado. With access to over 30,000 ATMs and a mobile app, they're dedicated to offering the services of a big bank with a heart. Learn more at honestlygood.org.